So, the path of the Juggernaut Barbarian is pretty awesome. This cool new subclass was just recently published in Tal'Dorei Reborn, which means this subclass is technically homebrew, as it is third party and not published officially by Wizards of the Coast, and therefore it is not assumed playable at every single table. Please make sure you consult your DM if you're interested in playing it. However, by the end of this video, I hope to break down the subclass and give my opinion on whether or not this content is balanced enough and unique enough to include in your home games. Thank you for sitting down with me for your short rest. Let's spend some hit die and have a chance to talk about this unique subclass for barbarians who follow the path of the Juggernaut. These barbarians stand so resolutely that none can deter them, and they swing their weapons with such force that all who stand against them are flung aside. In might and in spirit, Juggernauts are immovable object and an unstoppable force all at once. Starting when you choose this path at 3rd level, you get Thunderous Blows. Your rage instills you with the strength to shove and smash your way through your foes, making any battlefield your domain. When you hit a creature with a melee attack while you are raging, you can push that creature up to 5 feet away from you in a direction of your choice. A creature that is huge or larger makes a strength saving throw with a DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier. On a success, the creature is not pushed. Starting at 10th level, you can push a creature up to 10 feet when you hit with a melee attack while you're raging. This ability is actually pretty straightforward. You get to forcibly shove any creature that you hit with a melee attack while raging, meaning that when you first gain this feature, you will be doing so likely at least once a turn. I'm very glad that this ability doesn't have the caveat text that we sometimes see that you can only use this feature once per turn. Because when you get extra attack at 5th level from being a barbarian, you can continue to bash enemies away from you. What an evocative image, by the way. I just imagine a character who uses large gauntlets, smashing into enemies and pushing them back with reckless abandon. If you opt for a less damage-dealing set of weapons, you may even decide to go the 2-weapon fighting route, meaning that by 5th level you could potentially be pushing a creature up to 15 feet, assuming you hit all your attacks, that is. Additionally, when you get to 10th level, this gets even crazier. That same 2-weapon fighting barbarian could potentially push an enemy back 30 feet. I seriously feel bad for any group of enemies you fight near lava or on an airship. Something also to note is that even though this force movement doesn't cause opportunity attacks, you can still benefit from using Thunderous Blows on opportunity attacks that you gain normally. For example, if you have the Sentinel feat, and a creature with multi-attack attempts to strike an ally near you, you can make an opportunity attack that has been granted by your Sentinel feat. When you hit the creature with a melee attack, you can use your Thunderous Blows to push them back. Since Sentinel also reduces their movement speed to 0, they cannot move closer to you and continue to attack you or your ally. Now, let's take this a step even further and imagine you also have the Polearm Master feat. Perhaps you are a level 4 variant human, or a level 8 character of any other race. Then the Polearm Master feat would allow you to make an opportunity attack when a creature enters your threatened space. At that point, if you hit, Sentinel will stop their movement, and Thunderous Blows would push them back 5 feet, ensuring once again that they cannot press the attack. Something extremely important to note, however, is that even though you can prompt the force movement on an opportunity attack that you are already making, the force movement that this ability causes, once again, does not prompt opportunity attacks in of itself. This is something that they make clear in the book that I actually really appreciate. The book states, usually when one creature moves out of a hostile creature's reach, the hostile creature can make its reaction to make an opportunity attack. However, the forced movement, such as being pushed by the Path of the Juggernaut Barbarian's Thunderous Blows feature, doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Another thing that I really like about this ability is that a creature is pushed away from you in a direction of your choice. A lot of times you will see abilities that just say the creature is pushed 5 feet away from you. This means that you aren't able to have as much flexibility with the diagonals and better controlling where your enemy actually goes. The final thing that I really like about this feature is that you can use it to push tiny, small, medium, and large creatures, but as soon as you get to huge or larger, then there's a strength save attached. It makes it easy to track for most enemies, but also makes sense that you could fail at pushing, let's say, Tiamat, the mother of all dragons. Overall, I give this feature a 4 out of 5. I think it's wonderfully simplistic in design, but offers a lot of fun in its design. It helps support the idea that you are an immense force of a barbarian, while also offering some interesting capabilities in the battlefield control department. Next, also at 3rd level, we get the Spirit of the Mountain. You harness your fury to anchor your feet to the ground, becoming bulwark of strength. While you are raging, you can't be knocked prone or move along the ground against your will. This is a pretty neat and simple ability. I give it a solid 4 out of 5. I like that it reinforces the idea that you are an immovable object. Hard as they try, no one is able to move you if you defy them. I think the text, while you are raging, is doing a lot of work to make sure that this ability stays simple and not overpowered. I think this ability is wonderfully flavorful, and I appreciate its inclusion. Next, we have Demolishing Might. Starting at 6th level, your melee weapon attack deal an extra 1d8 damage to constructs, and deal damage double to objects and structures. Okay, so this ability doesn't do a lot in the mechanical power department, and for that reason, I am going to have to give it a 3 out of 5. Dealing double damage to objects and structures isn't going to do a whole lot for you in most campaigns. I would wager that most DMs aren't well versed in the hit points of structures and objects, and will often be making numbers up on the fly, or just allowing you to destroy something quicker than most characters. If you have this ability, you will likely have to actively look for ways to use it. However, those scenarios are likely going to be really cool. I can just imagine your party rolling up to a goblin camp, and you take out your immense battle axe and begin to smash the legs of the precarious watchtower. That being said, even though the double damage to structures and objects is situational in most campaigns, this ability also gives you the extra 1d8 to constructs. This goes a long way in ensuring that you at least see some use of this feature. While constructs aren't the most common creature type, there are over 140 different construct monster stat blocks currently in the game throughout all of the source books, meaning that there is a decent chance that you will see that extra damage at least a little bit. Though, depending on the campaign, your mileage will vary. Our next feature is called Resolute Stance. At 6th level, you can temporarily refocus your combat ability to make yourself a bulwark of defense. At the start of your turn, no action required, you can assume a defensive stance that lasts until the start of your next turn. While in this stance, you can't be grappled, attack rolls against you have disadvantage, and your weapon attacks are made with disadvantage. This feature is really interesting and seems a lot like an inverted reckless attack. I mean, not being able to be grappled and attack rolls against you having disadvantage is obviously a massive boon. However, it does come at the hefty price of your weapon attacks being made with disadvantage. I think this ability is really thematically sound and does absolute work if you're anticipating a round of tanking damage. But I do think it is also circumstantial. For that reason, I have to give it a 4 out of 5. If you know you're not going to be making attacks for a turn, this is a wonderful no-resource way to ensure that you can get done what you need to get done. Maybe you're running a potion to an ally, or you're trying to get your dying friend to safety. The image of brushing off multiple attacks as you move forward protecting an injured animal in your arms, or continuing to hold the rope while your friend climbs it, is a very strong image. There is something quite confusing about this feature, however. If you are already grappled, does this feature allow you to break the grapple? The text states you cannot be grappled, and I think many DMs are going to be interpreting this in a variety of ways. Personally, at my tables, I would rule that it would end a current grapple, as that seems to be the rule's intention to me. Though our next feature is called Hurricane Strike. Starting at 10th level, your blows can hurl foes through the air and into the attacks of your allies. As a reaction, when you push a creature at least 5 feet, you can then leap into an unoccupied space next to the creature. If you do, the creature must succeed on a strength saving throw with a DC equal to 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your strength modifier, or be knocked prone. This leap costs no movement and does not provoke opportunity attacks. Additionally, whenever you push a creature into a space within 5 feet of one of your allies, the ally can use its reaction to make a melee weapon attack against that creature. Now we're talking. This is where I believe that the path of the Juggernaut Barbarian really begins to take off. I love when abilities like this build upon core abilities that you already have access to. At this very level, your Thunderous Blows begin to be able to push enemies 10 feet. With your Hurricane Strike, you can use your reaction to follow that creature and potentially knock them prone. I think that alone would have made this ability super good and worth the subclass. But it even gets better. Whenever you push a creature, whether it be with your Thunderous Strikes or anything else, any ally can make a melee weapon attack. All of these culminates in a perfect 5 out of 5 for this ability. It is bonkers powerful, and I love the gameplay loop here, knocking enemies super far back, making them fall over, and enabling your friends to wail on them is incredible. For reference, you can hit with your Thunderous Blows on your first attack, knock the creature 10 feet, follow them, potentially knock them prone, enable a single ally to make a weapon attack, now at advantage because they are prone, and you still have another attack from extra attack. Maybe even 2 more attacks if you're going the 2-weapon fighting route. This is a seriously powerful feature, and it further enables you to be a master at single target battlefield control. Our last feature is called Unstoppable. At 14th level, your fury in battle makes you unstoppable. While you're raging, you cannot reduce your speed, and you are immune to the frightened, paralyzed, prone, and stunned condition. If you are already frightened, paralyzed, or stunned, you can still use a bonus action to enter a rage, even if you can't otherwise take actions. You aren't affected by any of these conditions while you are raging. This feature is pretty darn cool. This is a culmination of your ability to keep pressing the attack no matter what the obstacle. Being immune to paralyzed and stunned, some of the most punishing conditions in the game, is incredible. Not to mention that you are also immune to prone and frightened, which are 2 of the most common. This ability is really powerful, and it is really icing on the cake that you can enter your rage to end these effects. There's not a lot to this ability, but it is really powerful, so I give it a 5 out of 5. Overall, I actually really like the path of the Juggernaut Barbarian. It is a super evocative subclass, and it feels like it has a place among the other 5e Barbarians. Something that I really look for in subclasses for the Barbarian is a set of mechanics that improve the typical combat loop of martial classes. I do feel like the 10th level is really when this class gets the most fun in that regard, which is a little bit late for my taste. But I am thankful that there are seeds of interesting combat spattered as early as level 3. At the end of the day, I think this is a well-designed subclass that I will be allowing at my table. I give the Path of a Juggernaut Barbarian a 4 out of 5. If you want to see more Tal'Dorei classes, go ahead and click the link up above there to browse our playlist. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on your next short rest. I wanted to give a super big shout out to our patrons. If you want your name immortalized at the end of our videos, you can support Short Rest on Patreon at the link down below. Our patrons of local hero tier or above are Painted Sky and Robert Allen Klaus III. Thank you guys so much.